Hello friends, welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be designing a horizontal layout for the next week in October in my catch-all planner. So come plan with me. And I've got some washi tapes here all ready to go, along with these stickers that I'll be using, a Tombow brush marker I'll be using as well, some ink and a blending brush, this blending palette and some water from this water brush pen, this Girl Boss Anna Narrative Hues sticker book, and these Planny Things sticker books, which I'll pull from. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and lay down some wax paper to get started on this week's design. So I really wanted to use these pumpkins from last year's Pumpkin Vibes sticker book from Planny Thing. I really liked the look and feel of these pumpkins and gourds in this set in the book. And I really kind of liked the colors as well, being a little more neutral focused and not quite so primary as far as the colors, a little bit more earthy as well. So I thought I would try to use up what I have left here and these stickers in this health layout. I'm going to just drop in the pumpkins to start, see what I want to do. Have a few ideas of ways that this spread can go, so we'll try some things, figure out what works best and where I land as far as the colors and positioning of things. So I also have Planny Things Autumn Boxes sticker book, and I really think the colors in there were going to match up pretty well with the color scheme of this spread. So we'll pull in some items from there, but I did not really like the circles as much as I thought I would because they just kind of blended into the pumpkins a bit. That said, what I ended up doing is going for the boxes. And luckily that kind of worked out because then I realized I wanted to do more of a gradient across the page versus just having it be a little bit more haphazard. I think using a gradient of color when it can be done really just helps the design feel a little more intentional. So I like that idea, and I tend to do that when I have the ability to do so with decor like this. So we're going to start with it being the whitest white on the left-hand side and work our way across towards the more orange, deeper orange tones. And in between, what I'm going to do is use the relative colors that I'm pulling from there in the middle to bring in the colors of the boxes so that the box is also gradient across the page. Now I've used all of the pumpkin stickers, gourd stickers that I have there in that collection, so I'm limited by what you see there as far as what else I could do. I'm liking this just straight across background collage look. And here you can see I'm looking for the right boxes for the right colors, trying to place them where they work the best in the scheme. So these boxes will be used for my workouts. This is just a way for me to really keep this decor area functional. It would be nice just to have the pumpkins alone, but I use a lot of the space top to bottom each day for tracking my health stats and things. So I really can't take up that much room of just decor without incorporating some kind of functional items in between there. So that's the way that I usually plan, and I usually do 6 workouts each week, or that's always the plan to do. I wouldn't say that I've been very consistent these last few years, but that's always the plan. So that's why I've put in 6 boxes instead of 7. That said, I've got a pretty good gradient, I think, going across the page so far, and am now looking for coordinating stickers to back up my stat stickers with to add a little bit more of that color each day to the spread. I'm just looking through this sticker book that I got from Narrative Hues, which used to be called Girl Boss Anna, and am matching up the colors the best I can find with what's available in this book. It's coming together pretty nicely, but I would say here on the right, I'm having a little bit of trouble finding the right colors to really make this work. Trying to get some ideas on how this might go a little bit better. And what I found is that maybe I should do more of the orange on the very end and go more with the brownish orange closer to the other tones. I don't really have a true peachy tone in the spread, but I think it works good with the boxes, so we're going to work with that and make it work with the pumpkins and everything, even though that peachy tone isn't quite found in any of the individual decor items. And when I did that, I was able to find at least something to fill that 7th day there on the Saturday and make it work as far as a gradient going across the page. I was a little bit hard up to find a good orange, as you can see, so I think it works. It could be better, but I think it works. So now I'm just prepping my stat stickers to work on those, I guess those are called overlay tape stickers. And the whole reason, that I pulled them was to add just a bit of color behind these basic black stat stickers that I made. And I'm just going to drop them right on top. Want to make sure that everything's aligned to the lines on the spread. I am making some adjustments each time so that everything lines up nicely. I really do like this color scheme quite a bit. It's a little bit of pumpkin vibes, but it's not like overwhelming. It's more like a sophisticated vibe, which I am enjoying. I also wanted to pull in some of these washi tapes. Just tried laying in that orange one across the top and kind of liked how it came in. So then I decided to pull in the yellow on this side, keep with the gradient of tone separated instead of using orange again over here and muddling up the colors. So I think the orange works really well on the right, and I think the yellow with the white works pretty well here on the left. I was thinking of adding in a little bit more of this, I don't know, it's kind of like a vintagey, antiqued looking washi. So I tried it there as a layering piece, but I think it'll best be served just away from that part of the spread and standing alone, marrying the two colors together at the top or at the bottom, or maybe both. So I'm liking how this looks, and I think we're getting pretty close to moving it over. Go ahead and pull up the tape here and prep the background now for the decor. So since I'm going to be using quite a bit of the space below here in the lined area, what I want to do is white out, of course, all of the darker black lines, but I think for this spread in particular, I'm going to also white out the gray lines that will be behind the clear stickers, just again to try to create a little bit more of a clean palette here at the top. And what I use for whiting out just fine lines like this is a white gel pen. My favorite is the Sakura Jelly Roll in the 10 size, or it's like a 1.0, I think, millimeter tip. No, it can't be millimeter. Well, maybe it is millimeter. I have to think about that. Anyway, so I'm just going to use that to white out all of those lines. And then I also thought, well, I want to white out the lines in between as well, just in this section, so that, again, it's a little bit more free-flowing. So go ahead and do that. Get it covered on all of this top half. And it's looking pretty good as far as, creating that nice blank canvas to work with. And then I kind of thought about it too and remembered that I did do decor all the way to the edges, so I may come back and do those other lines pretty soon. And here, this is where I wanted to add just a bit of texture to the spread, a little bit of a background. I picked a very light, almost like apricot tone to add in just some like ink splotchy texture here. Just using just a smidge of water in my water brush to loosen up the ink a bit and then stamping it down onto the background. You could do a lot of things with a little bit of ink and water on your planner without it really damaging your page or, watering up your page. And this is one technique that I really like to do. So I went ahead and did that. I whited out those black lines where it's going to cross over, along with some of those gray dotted lines in the sidebar, just to clean that up, and finished out the inking there. I'm also going to put in that washi tape I mentioned earlier along the top and the bottom. It does have a seam that doesn't quite hit a full page or 2 pages width that comes in, and I don't really like that seam, so I'm going to patch it with a little bit more of the washi tape, just kind of butting it up and then patching over it. It's a little bit tough here on this one since there was not quite the right color lineup. So I tried a few different orientations and it still was showing. So then I did one more and it was a little bit better because it was farther away from where the seam was and the color matched best. So I like that. I like having that all ready to go without those seams. And now what we're going to do is just start dropping things in while that ink is still drying. It's probably dry by now, but I like to give it plenty of time to be fully dried before I put stickers on it, just in case I need to move things around. If the ink is still wet, it will definitely grab a hold more to the sticker. So keep that in mind when you're doing this kind of mixed media in your spreads. And if you like to move things around, that's a definite concern. I'm also just going to add a little bit of this yellow ink blended in on top of it, just for a little bit more color and interest. I just like to try things, see what I like, and I really like the idea of layering these two, so we're going to test it out and see how it all works together. If I like it, I'll probably do it again in the future. I think this is the first time I've done something where I've actually layered these two types of media together, the ink with the water and then the chalk ink with the blending brush. And I really did like how it turned out in the end. It would be really fun if I had enough of the colors, like in different pens and blending inks, to work my way across the entire spread and keep that gradient going. I mean, how cool would that look? So that is an idea if you have the resources at your disposal to try and you like this idea. In the future, if I do this again, I'll keep that in mind and maybe do something like that where I'm actually using those various colors as I go across and see how it looks. I've laid in pretty much all the stickers except for this one little last bit with the washi tape, trying to get the right alignment there so that it doesn't butt down too far into the space where I am going to need to be writing in. And anything that does cross the imaginary line there, I will cut off and use as a further piece to enhance the look of the containment of those stickers, if you will. So I'm just trimming them off with my precision cutter, which I love for this type of cutting stickers on spread technique. It's so much easier, in my opinion, than using an X-Acto knife, and I talk about it quite frequently when I do use it just because I think it's such a good planning tool for sticker users. It's just perfect for this application. And now that I've laid in those stickers, I'm going to try to beef up the black line here on the borders, especially those that go into the sidebar and into the spine, since the top black line and the bottom black line don't quite reach all the way to the edges. I needed to clean up a little bit of my line because it didn't quite match it up perfectly with the edge. Had I thought about it before I started laying down the stickers, I definitely would have done it before. So if you're trying to do this type of spread, I recommend doing that step before you actually lay in the stickers. Should be a lot easier. And here I kind of noticed that I didn't place enough stickers there at the bottom to hit that bottom line. So we're going to make a few adjustments just to get a little bit more variety down here. Get things lined up a little bit nicer as well. And then I'll use those trimmings, of course, on the edges and maybe even here at the bottom of the box to make the spread feel a little bit more full on this side. And sometimes I don't like the placement at first, so I'll move some things around. I often do that, so just bear with me. I'll also push this black line all the way to the edges. And kind of, again, clean up that line since I am not very good at drawing straight lines, even with a ruler, I guess. And that looks good. It has more of a wallpaper look now, which I think I like a lot. I'm also going to drop in a few more of the trimmings, if I have any others to use. And then I'm also going to use that same precision cutter to clean out the holes to get this into my planner. I'll also do a little bit of cleanup. Trimming as well on some of these areas that I've kind of neglected earlier. And then once I'm done with that, you guys, we will be done, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye!